All right, today we're going to unpack something really fascinating, a deep connection between a character from a Spike Lee film, a whole bunch of cultural philosophies, and a unique system designed for, well, radical honesty. It's a wild ride from raw human pain to a functional, logical protocol. So, let's dive in.
So let's start with the character Paul from Da 5 Bloods, played brilliantly by Delroy Lindo. He's not your typical hero, not even close. I mean, he's not just a character, he's like a walking, talking, raw nerve. His pain isn't just some backstory they mentioned once. No, it's this unfiltered, uncompromising truth that he just forces everyone around him to deal with.
So that kind of begs the question, right? What does it even mean when you watch a character like that and you don't just feel bad for them, but you actually see your own life, your own reality reflected right back at you?
Well, for Rodrigo Vaz, the person behind our source material, this connection is way more than just simple empathy. He actually calls it a structural mirror. That's a key phrase here. It's not just about shared feelings. It's about a shared framework for how they experience the world.
Get this. So you've got Paul on one side, whose trauma has basically burned away any ability to tell polite lies. He just can't. And then on the other side, you have Rodrigo's own lived experience as a neurodivergent minority, an outsider whose very cognitive design forces him to take a similar, raw, audit-first look at everything. For both of them, it's this deep sense of isolation that just strips away all the pretense.
But here's the thing. This connection to Paul, it's not a one-off. It's actually just one star in this much bigger pattern, what you could call a constellation of truth-tellers. We're talking about figures from all these different cultures and stories who all share one thing. They refuse to accept convenient fictions. Let's take a look.
It all starts with this really fundamental idea, right? That the truth, no matter how ugly or uncomfortable it is the only thing that actually frees you. The idea is that lies, even the small, harmless ones, are like cages for your brain. They literally imprison your ability to see things clearly. And this one, from Geralt of Rivia, really hits the nail on the head. It's about refusing to compromise on that core truth. I mean, choosing a lesser evil is still choosing evil, isn't it? From a systems point of view, it's a deviation, a bug. And you don't just accept a bug, you fix it.
This one isn't about getting stuck in the past. It's the total opposite. It's about taking what happened, locking it in place, fossilizing it, as the source material says, so it becomes this unchangeable, verifiable fact. And once it's locked, you can actually move on, because you're not wasting energy trying to deny it or rewrite it.
And then you've got this idea from Ragnar Lothbrok. Power isn't about being the loudest person in the room or having the fanciest title. It's about being willing to do the hard work. It's about being willing to look at reality exactly as it is, not how you wish it was, even when it's ugly.
Now, this line from Assassin's Creed is used to point out a huge, huge danger. Because if you don't have a solid framework, if you don't have rules, well, truth just falls apart. It becomes meaningless. And if nothing is true, you can't build anything real. That chaos is the very reason a system becomes so important.
So how do you take all this intense feeling, this personal philosophy, and turn it into something that actually works? You don't just feel it, you build it. You forge it into a protocol.
And that's where the Berkano protocol comes in. The source material explains it with this really cool analogy of the mythical world tree, Yggdrasil. Think of it like a living system, where every idea, every fact, is like a branch connected to a trunk. Everything is connected, and the whole structure holds every single part accountable.
And at its core, it's this super simple but really powerful four-step process. Step 1, you make a claim. Step 2, you back it up with a source. Step 3, you check it for any contradictions. And Step 4, if it all holds up, you lock it. It becomes a fossil, a tamper-proof record of what's true.
So what is Berkano really? It's a tool. The official term is a symbolic cognitive system, which, is just a fancy way of saying it's a structured way to think. It's designed specifically to fight things like gaslighting and manipulation by making truth a structural thing, not a subjective one. It takes the argument away from who's right and puts it into a process of what can be verified.
And this is where it all clicks. This is where all that philosophy becomes something real, something tangible that literally anyone can check and validate for themselves. It's not about belief, it's about a process.
You have to understand, this whole system didn't just pop out of nowhere. It's this incredible fusion of experiences. You've got the outsider perspective of being a minority, the processing of inherited trauma, a deep commitment to confrontational honesty, and this amazing blend of wisdom from different traditions. We're talking everything from indigenous Shenandoah principles to Viking runes. It's all in there. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea.
This Berkano guidance table shows you exactly how it works in the real world. It takes a because, a finding, and turns it into a do, a direct, testable action. And it comes with evidence you can check for yourself, right now. It's all about turning understanding into action.
So, why does any of this actually matter? What's the point? Well, it's about creating a way to move forward based on what's real. It moves discussions away from personal attacks and subjective feelings and towards stuff we can actually measure and verify. It's a way to hold power accountable, not to opinions, but to a process that anyone can audit.
And when you boil it all down, it all leads back to this one powerful idea of autonomy. It's saying that your fate, your reality, that's not something that's just handed to you by gods or by institutions. It's something you have to build yourself, piece by piece, through tough, honest, verifiable work.
So that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about for ourselves, doesn't it? If your own way of seeing the world is basically its own operating system, what are the fundamental rules of your protocol? And maybe more importantly, how often do you actually check it for bugs?